Welcome to this 4 tips for killer chords video, where I'm going to show you how to get your chords nailed properly every time. In the previous videos we looked at how to read chord grids and how to play A, D and E major. Now even though that's pretty cool, just knowing how to play the chords doesn't mean that they're going to sound right. So that's exactly what you'll be learning in this video. 4 killer tips that will help you to play chords properly so they ring out strong and clear, without any fret buzz or any annoying things like that. Furthermore, if you're using the correct technique to play these chords, you wouldn't need to use as much pressure in your fretting hand, which will help you to change chords faster and with a lot less effort. You'll also be more relaxed and in control when playing guitar. The chord grids show you where to put your fingers, but they don't say anything about what specific techniques or angles you need to use. So that's what I'll tell you about in this video so that you can get your chords nailed every time. Let's look at 4 simple tips that you should memorize. First off, you have to play in the middle or the front of the fret area, because playing too far back will cause fret buzz, which quite frankly is disgusting. Alright, so playing the note in the middle or in the front of the fret area will cause it to ring out clearly. That sounds a lot better than this. So the middle or the front end of the fret area. Secondly, you need to make sure that you're using the tip of your finger and not the fingerprint area. That'll allow you to play the notes a lot more accurately without touching any of the adjacent strings. Then you need to make sure that your fingers are arched properly and that you're catching the string right in the middle of the fingertip with an equal amount of fingers sticking out on either side of the string. Alright, this kind of goes hand in hand with the previous step, because by arching your fingers properly, right, and making sure that the string is right in the middle of your fingertip, you won't be touching any of the other strings. Alright, this is especially true when you're playing D major. You might find that the high E string doesn't ring out properly, and that's probably because the third finger is touching the high E string. Okay, so that doesn't sound great, but the interesting thing is, even though that note on the high E is fretted properly, it won't ring out if the third finger is actually touching it. Right, so you want to make sure that you're arching the finger so that it sounds right. Then the last tip is to make sure that your thumb is positioned correctly and applying enough pressure. Your thumb needs to be in the right position when you're playing chords if you want to be able to apply all of these previous tips I've just mentioned. So if your fingers they can't or won't comfortably play the chord as described in the previous 3 tips, then just move your thumb around a little bit. You can see if I hold my hand out like this, just by moving the thumb, the fingers spread out nicely, which allows you to play the chords nice and easy. Then once the fingers are playing the notes as explained, you just need to make sure that you're applying enough pressure, kind of like squeezing an orange. So there you have it, 4 very simple yet extremely effective tips for playing clean and solid chords. These tips will help you in other areas of playing guitar as well, like playing single note lead lines as well as riffs, and it all comes down to good technique, which will enable you to play the guitar effortlessly. So what's next? Well, go and apply these 4 tips on the chords you already know. And in order to make sure that your chords are ringing out properly, pick the chord note for note to make sure that all the notes are ringing out clearly. If you happen to find any dud notes, make sure you're following all 4 tips closely. Just go over them one by one and try and look for the problem. Then once the chords are rocking, go and play some songs to reinforce your learning. And then, once you've got that sorted, you can go and learn a couple of new chords. Now if you haven't already signed up for my free crash course for beginners at guitarskills.com/free course, make sure you go and grab your free membership today. You'll get additional resources like PDF downloads, backing tracks, interactive iPad, iBooks, and special forum access where you can ask me any questions about learning to play guitar. So there you go. I hope you found this helpful. Go and give this a shot, and then I'll see you in the next video.